Today we are going to learn chapter 5, data cleaning and filtering. So the subtopic that we have in chapter 5, the first one is introduction to tidy data. And then we are going to use a package, tidyr, and then we learn how to deal with missing data, keep and remove variables, filtering data, and also variables. So what does it mean by tidy data? So in this chapter, we are going to learn a consistent way to organize our data in R. So this is what we call as tidy data. So we are trying to clean the data in R. So this requires some works that you need to pay attention to every single lines of your data. We need to make sure that the data is properly and can be used for the further analysis later on. So in this chapter, we are going to use the tidyverse package. So you need to check in your packages, check the list. Do you have that packages? Like I already installed the packages that we need to use. So if you still do not have it, you can check it. So in your library tidyverse. So I think I already have it in this computer. So if you click it like this, so if you look at this, we have the attaching packages. We have the ggplot2, but then since I already installed several packages, we have conflict here. So for tidyverse, the conflicts for sites and stats. So we might have several changes. We might have to uninstall this one. So let's try again. Is it possible? Do you have any problem with the? You can check it in your computer. Do you have any conflicts in your packages? Because we already have so many types of packages here. You can check it. Sometimes the command line, it is going to eventually, if you have too many packages, it is going to create conflicts. So since I already detached the package site here, so unload, and then there's no more warning that we are going to get from this console pane. So let's try to proceed how to tidy the data. We also are going to use tidyr. So tidyr is a member of the core tidyverse. So if you look at this tidyr, we already have it in the tidyverse. So we are going to use this to tidy up our messy data set. So right now we are trying to use several things. Let's take a look at our data set. So we have several rules to make sure that our data set is tidy. First, for each variable, there must have its own column. So one column for one variable. And then for each variable, they must have their own row. So row is for observation, column is for variable. And then for each value, it is in their own cell. So we have like in the Microsoft Excel, for each cell, in the cell we have each value. So that's how it works. So this is the 3 interrelated rules to make a data set tidy. So we need to do the example later on. Alright, so in R, if you write the table 1, you can get this. This is what R already have in the system. I already have pre-saved data set for you to use for exercise. So for example, if you write table 2, so let's take a look at what happened actually. So for each data set, we have for table 1 we have country, so we have Afghanistan, Brazil, China, year, and then we have castles, and also we have the population size. And then for table 2 we have the country, so this one we have 12 observation, and then for each year, and then the types, character, and the count. So for 1999, and then the cases, and then the populations. So if you look at this kind of table 2, this is not a tidy data. So if you look at this one, country, yes, and then year, okay, every for each single thing this year, and then for cases, okay, this is also cases, and this is all for the population. But then for this one, we have Afghanistan, and this one is cases, and this one is population. So this is not a tidy data. So let's take a look at another example. In R, we have table 3. So for this one, this is also not a tidy data. This is pretty messed up, kind of messed up actually, because right here we have the case, and then we have the population size. So in order for you to calculate the rate, actually, you need to use the formula. This is the cases divided by the population size, and then if you look at the characteristic, this is in terms of character. So we do not want it to be in terms of character. This is supposed to be integer, number. But then for character, this is cases, population. But then this is saved as character, which is not correct in this case. If you save it as integer, you're going to get the rate. Okay, so what you can do, if you are trying to actually tidy the data that you have in table 1, so let's try to do some. So this is what we call as pipe in. We are trying to pipe in the information. We mutate the value. How? So this is the definition: add new variable and preserve existing one. So we are trying to calculate the rate. We are trying to maintain all the variables that we have by creating new. So if you look, when you write cases, so cases, so this is, we already have in table 1, we have the cases. So this one, we are trying to create rate, so we need to divide by population. So this is the population, and then we need to multiply by 10,000, because we need to compute the rate per 10,000. So this is the formula. So from table 1, okay, enter. So right now, so this is the changes that you have done. So this is the original table 1. We only have country, year, cases, and population. So based on the next one, this is we pipe in the value. We mutate the originally variables that we have in order to create new variable. The name is rate, and then right now the table 6 by 5 instead of 6 by 4. So we have additional variable right now. This is rate per 10,000 cases. So this is some of the example that we can do. What we want to do, for example, you are trying to tidy the data. We need several changes. So this is some of the changes that we can do. Let's say we are trying to compute. Let's put something here. Compute the cases per year. Cases per year. So in order for you to compute per cases per year, so the data from table 1, we need to pipe in the data. So you just want to know the cases, you just need to count year. So variable year, what we are interested, and the weight equal cases. So let's see what happened. Okay, so this is what the remaining. So we compute cases per year. So we only maintain the year and then the number of cases. In this case, both of the variable is integer. So this is what you can do. So next, let's try to visualize changes over time. We are trying to draw graph the changes that you can see over time. So in the library, actually, we are trying to use the ggplot. You can check what kind of packages that you have. ggplot. For ggplot, do you have this? Okay, we already have this. You can try to check it. It doesn't hurt. We already have it. So nothing going to change. So for ggplot, let's try to draw ggplot. Table 1 from table 1. The data is from table 1. It is static. So year are going to be the x variable, and then cases are going to be y variable. And what are the changes? So we need to do the geometric line. Geom line. This is just the static, so it depends on you. Actually, you can use so many kind of command line. You can search this from Google. There's so many kind people in this world. They already share how to do certain graph. Like, so let's say I'm interested to change the color. So what would happen? Maybe we can use the color gray. And then what are the other characteristic that you're interested to use? For example, the geom points. If you want to color according to the country, so the aesthetic, the AS, so this is actually the mapping. So you are trying to change the color of your dots. The color will be depends on the country. So let's see what happened. So this is the graph that we get. So this is the year, and then this is the number of cases, and then we have three graphs. So this told you what are the changes happen to the, let's say, Brazil. For Brazil, there are increasing pattern. For China, almost nothing, no changes at all. And then for Afghanistan, you can see they're slightly different. The line is going to, there are positive trend, but very small changes happen from 1999 to 2000. So this is what you can use using tidyverse. So right now we are just trying, you need to know what do you want from the data set. So if you look at the table, according to table 1, so this is kind of not messed up. For table 2, you need to do some changes because the data is not good as it is. You need to do some changes. You need to tidy the data before you can use for the analysis. So if in case you want to add another variable, you can use the mutate. So this is what we call as pipe in. So this is the new variable read from the existing variable. We have cases, we have population, and then since we interested to know per 10,000 cases, so you need to multiply. So this is the value that we get. And then for compute cases per year, this is just what you want to know, year and the number of cases. So this is what you want. And if you want to visualize the changes over time, you can use the ggplot. So if you do not know, so let's try to search. Let's try to search for the ggplot. Data visualization. You can use so many So this is example, you can read it on your own. If you want to have the ggplot check sheet, so this is tidyverse sheet. So you can search, visit. This is from the RStudio. This is very good for you. So if you want to install, there are so many. You need to wait. Actually, you can. So this is for data transformation, and then this is for data tidying using tidyr or tidyverse. There's so many things actually. This is how to import the data. Let's take a look at this. Okay, so if you have, so this is the basic one. Using the ggplot tool is based on the grammar of graphic. The idea that you can build every graph from the same component, a data set, a coordinate system. So this is the plot. So this is the basic one. So we have the template. So ggplot, so the data, you have to know what is the name of your data, and then the geom function, it depends on you, depends on what kind of static that you want. For example, that we have, so if you want to use the two variables and then the graphical primitive, the line segment, if you want to use the slope, what are the latitude, so one discrete variable, one continuous. So this is the basically the simplified command line that you can use. There are so many graphs that you can check it here. So this is the basic line. You can do anything. If you want to change the color, if you want to fill it using scale, using discrete variable and the x and y variable, you can use this. You can check. If you are not interested to know to use the ordinary shape in size and scale in this sheet, you can check it here. If you can see this, so this is the shape and size scale that you can use. For example, the shape FL, so what kind of shapes? 0 stand for this one, 1 for this one, 2 this one. You can use anything. This is very helpful for you. So you need to learn for each of these. This is the simplified command line. It is quite impossible for us to cover everything that we have. So you need to be very independent and try to use as much as you can, because this is introduction to R programming. In the future, you're going to use R in much more that situation. You can use it more deeply compared to what we have learned right now. So this is some of the references that you can use. So this is from the RStudio itself. You can check. So this is what we have learned, how to use the ggplot, and you can, this is dplr lyr cheat sheet. So that's all for today. Thank you.